is pretty good to sort of reward different skill set. But yeah, we have this map pack ready to go, and we have our players ready to go as well. Seems like at the moment we have still 22 players. We have all kinds of countries here. Still some players jumping in. So we are going to wait until we have the clock at the top at 21 exactly. Now here's an interesting thing. Dunste has won the last 2 years in a row. And what makes that interesting is that Dunste is not really showing on the leaderboard. There are some players that definitely do, but yeah, we haven't really seen Dunste's pace yet. So I'm really interested in seeing how that's going to look. Like we have 26 players now on the server. Might get a full bracket here. There were more players that signed up, but of course, like some cancellations always kind of come in. For example, Dawnstar, who had really good placements on the leaderboards, did unfortunately fall sick and might not be able to play today. I'm not sure if Dawnstar is on the server, but otherwise we are looking all right. So as far as I know, no problems so far. So the tournament format. Oh yeah, Dunste. So you won, as in you got into the top 2, and actually I haven't even mentioned it. The prize is for the top 2. Essentially, you end up in the best 2 players of the tournament. You win a fully paid trip to Paris Games Week next year in 2025, which that is a pretty major prize for playing Trackmania. So the players are probably looking to claim that prize as well. We have Klovny here, very solid player as well, has some extremely good times on the leaderboards, and might end up showing some very fast runs in this tournament today. But yeah. We're going to start the match in 2 minutes. That should be plenty of time for people to join at this point. We do have 30 players, so that means we are going to get pretty much okay. In this qualifier, we are going to play 5 rounds per map, all 4 maps. So what that means is we are going to have 20 rounds total. At the end of those 20 rounds, we are going to have our ranking. And that ranking decides where you end up in the brackets afterwards. So we shall see. We shall see what exactly happens in these rounds. And then we move on to the 4-player matches. Audio is weird. Game sound is weird. Oh no. But why? Okay, 1 second. Oh, it's better now. Oh, I definitely did something to fix it. Okay, well. Yep, yep, I did everything. I'm really good at this. Alright. Well, we are just about ready to go. So, let's get ready to see our Nordic players in action. 31 players have landed on the server, which means a pretty much full bracket. It's one off, so that is already excellent. That means everyone will qualify to the 1 versus 1 versus 1 versus 1 matches, which is also great. But it is time to jump in and see what our players can do. Let's jump in. The map order has been randomized, and it is going to start in this map right here. We have a 1-minute warm-up, and then we jump into the live round. 20 rounds total here. Have plenty of players to follow. A lot of players who have definitely showed their pace on the leaderboard, but then some others as well who might not have done so. It's going to be interesting to see, especially does this pace here on these maps. So this map indeed, by Doogie. This is not a caster-friendly map name, just throwing that out there, but I respect Doogie for being an innovator with map naming. Let us see. You get about 10 more seconds before the live round starts, and then we jump in. And here we go. Jumping in. Warm-up is done, and now it's time to actually show what you can do here. A couple players missing the start a little bit, but most players ready to go. A lot of Swedes on the server, a lot of Finns as well, and a few Danish and Norwegian players. I'm not really sure what the most populated country in this competition is, but... or well, the country with the most presence in this tournament, better said, but... it does seem like the Swedes are taking a little bit of a lead here. Klovny, Berskam, Jermoser, or Jermoser, whatever it is said, are the Finns following the top 4 here, but the top 4 is composed of 3 Swedes and 1 Norwegian player, that being Sinks here. Does seem like Wildcard and Kopro doing pretty well, just like we saw on the leaderboards, and Klovny as well. Sinks might try to snipe the win here on the first round, but Kopro takes it by just a couple thousandths of a second. That is an excellent start for Kopro, getting that first round in. You're giving a little bit of time for everyone to reach the finish line. So 5 rounds per map in this qualifier. Let's follow Klovny, getting a pretty decent first round in. Top 4 seeding will be a pretty nice start for anyone into this tournament. That guarantees a pretty nice seeding. You're making sure that you don't meet the other top 4 players until later in the tournament. Whereas, if you end up in top 8, let's say, you might need to beat some tougher opponents already on the first round. Overall, this round looking pretty similar, except Andy Baguette is leading a little bit here. The Norwegians battling for first place. Andy Baguette is the player to reach that finish line first. So getting those 70 points with a sub 56 in the bag. Kopro third place, just behind Sinks. And Turu there, getting that 4th place, 60 points. Some players still reaching the finish line. Overall, players getting those runs in, and the leaderboard is starting to shape up a little bit. Some other players who are known to dominate in these tournaments as well. For example, we have Heavy, who has done very nicely in competitions in general. Kind of in the top 10 range right now, but might be looking to improve a little bit more. Has some really good leaderboard times on these maps too. Really pushing and pushing a little bit too hard. Unfortunately, that crash will result in dropping quite a few places here. Missing the reactor at the end as well. That looked like yeah, that was a little bit off the mark at this point. Seems like maybe just practicing the line a little bit. It is a little bit of a tough point because you can miss the reactor if you push it a little bit too much, but taking it too safe might not be that great either, as you're probably going to lose a little bit more speed on the penalty grass. Klovny getting some good points from this round as well. Still the only Finn in top 5. The Swedish players and Norwegian players currently at the top. Can jump into somewhere in the middle right now. See how the Finnish players fare here. Probably the scary looking landing there. Mayo here. Steady and safe through the track. This tricky gear down section on the dirt here can be a little bit of a troubling part to get well, but players so far showing that it's not a problem. Duru making a slight mistake there. And we again have a very tight pack there. Klovny making a big mistake. And now it's again the Swedes and the Norwegians and Dunste actually getting that 1st place finish there as well. Via also the fastest Finn on this round, getting the 5th place. And those points will come in handy. Dunste apparently getting a personal best there. So those 70 points. Getting those solid runs at the right time. Climbing all the way up to top 4. Now we have 3 countries in the top 4. No Finland just yet, but it's early days here. It is a tricky map to get right. There's a lot of these transitions that look very trivial, like you're just jumping forward, like what could possibly be the issue. But it can get a little bit tricky to optimize all the speed slides you want to get there and make sure you don't get any extra airtime. So the players making it work. Andy once more at the top spot on this round. Dunste and Kopro just behind though, and Kopro might get a better ending. Really trying to push it, but no, actually, I thought Andy was ahead for sure, but no, it is one more 7,000th of a second difference for Kopro, getting some extra points there, pushing a bit more. TCBB getting into the finish as well. Always better than not finishing at all. Getting at least some points from the round. And Singh's continuing in the lead though, as we move on to the next map, which is going to be Metronome. And this map is a little bit of a maybe higher... Well, I don't know if there's such higher speed one. Maybe a little bit. But well, there's like a couple maybe different things that you can do here. Let's real quick check out a little bit of what this map is about as the players are getting the 1 minute warm-up in. We have this map. And please do let me know if it's too loud. Because I cannot hear. But a metronome has nothing to do with the actual map, but it is a French invention, which is kind of cool. Whoops. So we have a couple of these drifts here. A couple manual drifts that you need to do, and building speed off of these can be a little tricky. Some road grass sections as well. Not the easiest map. Maybe not the hardest map either. But we are getting in. Continuing the rounds. Sinks in the lead. Copro second place, and Dunster just 1 point ahead of Andy and Wildcard. Let's see how this all goes. Very even in the beginning. You can take a couple different lines into the plastic landing there. Some players opting for the very tight landing and some going a little bit wider for potential extra speed. Seems like everyone's surviving into the quarterpipe section, building more speed into the dirt part. And now you need to be careful not to jump too wide so you don't crash the outside line. And then building the speed from the drift, Dunster getting it really nicely and climbing towards that first place. Andy and Copro once again at the top place, and then the final grass turn really pushing it. And Dunster looks to be taking the first place with a great ending. Really pushing it. And it pays off. Susui also showing up in the top 4 on this map. Very, very close close times on this first round here. Only a couple hundredths separating these players, so this is the time to go all in. Sinks dropping some points on this first round, so potentially maybe giving that first place to someone else after this map, but it's hard to say. Still plenty to go. 4 more rounds on metronome. Need to be really careful with these gears. As in Trackmania, you do not want to drop gears if you don't have to. That can cause a bit of a slowdown. It's all about the speed you maintain through a section. So make one mistake and you might get that slowdown. Check in with the top here. Sinks right after that round. It's getting another great round. Those 70 points in the bag. Dunster continuing the consistent performance as we have Andy finishing on 3rd place. Wildcard also very, very solid run so far. Steadily continuing this performance. Copro losing quite a few points. Must have made a mistake on that round, so that will mean that some other players will get to the top 5 after this, or top 4. Still not an unbeatable point difference, though. You can fail a couple rounds and still manage to get to the top. And of course, the first place is not the only placement here that's really you necessarily need. You can also get into the top 8 pretty much, and that already gives you a pretty good seed into the bracket. Of course, the first place is the best seed, arguably, so it's not a bad thing to get, but maybe not entirely necessary. You will probably not give up the tournament just because you got top 2. Let's put it that way. Pro this time though, looking very good. And now pushing through, securing the first place. Sinks getting that second place and Dunch the one more top 3 wildcard, one more top 4. I feel like a lot of these players end up in the same positions on a lot of these rounds, but that just speaks of the consistency of these players. They've been practicing, they've been playing other tournaments for a long time, and it definitely shows when you go into a match like this. Also great to see how so many players showed up. So many players of like different backgrounds, different skill levels. Hopefully everyone has been enjoying practicing these maps. They are not easy, as we see someone doing a barrel roll out of the grass, kind of showcasing exactly what I mean. But pushing your times on Trackmania can be pretty great, no matter what your skill level currently is. Sinks, Andy looking to take the top 2 to Norway this time. Sinks securing it. Copro with that top 3. And Wildcard once again top 4. I feel like Wildcard is top 4 on every single round. But that works really nicely, because even if Wildcard is not getting to the podium, it's these consistent results that gives those points. And that's really the reason why Wildcard is still pretty close to the top still. Of course, still, you know, some other players with those consistent top 2s are getting a little bit more points, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. Let's check in on this Finnish bunch from top 7 to top 10. Not quite able to crack into the top 4, even on the second map, but of course there's 2 more maps to go. So, Turturu here, trying to get those rounds closer to those top times. Sinks getting a little bit away on this round. But both Turu and Klovny doing pretty well here. Turu maybe starting that drift a little too close to the left side of the road, so few players will start overtaking. Oh, Turu really pushing it, and it does work out, at least securing that top 6. And Klovny the top 4 on this round. Sinks once more winning that round, and Andy with that top 2. Wildcard dropping quite a few points here, so that can be an opening to some other players to get closer to. Dumle as well, climbing all the way towards those 500 points currently. Sinks here at 638 points as we go into the next map. And that map, a little bit dark right now, but it'll make sense. It'll make sense once we see the player view. So this one is Sala, and it's by Kola. Let's take a look. A veteran Finnish builder here. Kola has been building maps for a while. This one, maybe the most technical map out of the bunch, we could argue. It's pretty tricky, ultimately. Not so easy to master. There's some really difficult lines to push Turu here, showing one of them, so you can full speed this road section here, but it can be very risky to do so. Sometimes you might have to release, but it's about what you think your current line really works for. If you feel like you have the full speed line, you might just go for it. The other part is also the ending, really difficult to push through it. And we might see some crashes on this map if players end up pushing a little bit too much. But let's see. First round on Sala. going in, the start already being very tight to the full speed. A lot of players doing a small release there, I believe. But if you have the line, if you have the confidence, you might be able to get it consistently every single time. Dunster and wildcard here at the top. Wildcard with a very wide drift, and it pays off. Climbing all the way to the first place, and should get more speed out of this grass as well. And then really pushing it close to the walls, but it pays off for wildcard. A better drift initiation as well. But Dunster holding on very close to that first place. Clovny as well. Not far, and now pushing for the ending. Wildcard seems to have this in the bag. Clovny getting very close. Just a couple hundredths away, but Wildcard getting an important round win there. And Clovny as well getting a great top 2 placement. Allows a little bit of climbing on the leaderboard. Well, actually, not really, but at least getting closer to those top rankings. Andy seems to have made quite a mistake here, and Kopro as well, so this might shuffle the placements around a little bit. Sinks still in the lead convincingly with 696 points. Dunster 663, and then we have Wildcard with 638 after that round win there. And Kopro, after the mistake on the previous round, looking to climb back. Getting a bit closer to the others, and then the full speed line gets it perfectly. No sweat, no pressure. Clovny though, once more, looking to maybe snipe this one, but as I mentioned that, Clovny crashes into the wall there. It does look like Kopro will take this one. Sinks top 2, Dunster top 3. And Clovny dropping a little bit, but not too far, honestly. Still 50 points in the bag after this round. So could have been quite a bit worse at the finish. A trio here, Clovny, Turutudu and Vajo, fighting to get into the top 6. Still needing a few more strong rounds here. Sinks getting a little bit away from the others though. Very consistent. Great performance so far. This time it's the Finns and the Swedes who seem to get the best start though. Turutudu and Clovny just behind Kopro and Wildcard, but Dumle and Andy are right there as well. Bringing some Norwegians into the mix too. Does look like Wildcard has pretty decent lead here. It's getting closer to 1/10 of a second, but of course anything can happen. Clovny dropping the gear there on the plastic turn, and Wildcard indeed will hold that lead to the end. Nuclear making it a Swedish top 3 on this round. Dumle there on top 4, securing that top 6 placement still. Doing quite well, but Wildcard again climbing a little bit, getting all the way up to top 4 once again. Sinks though, getting close to 800 points already. Turutudu there with a bit of a mistake, and there's another one, I think from Wildcard. Everything's going so fast it's hard to see, but still it's Kopro and Dunster and Clovny holding on to the top 3 for now, but it's early to say who's gonna take it. I do think Kopro probably has the best chance here, and Kopro will secure it as we see one more player going into the wall. Clovny securing the 2nd place. Sniping it ahead of Sinks there. Dunster continues the The consistent scoring there. Still behind Sinks, so not quite climbing all the way up to the first seed just yet. And of course, there's one more map left to go, but we have one more round on Sala before we go into that. So top three different countries. And all players there have more than 800 points. One more round here to shake things up. You did see a crash there. I did not pick up who that was. My attention can only focus on so many things at once. But Kopro and Klovny once again at the top. Sinks so close to the wall, but does avoid the crash. Now pushing through the final plastic part, and Sinks with an excellent ending. Klovny might have dropped the gear again. And that actually does mean that Klovny dropping from top 2 to top 6. Very, very tight. Very tight rounds on this map, and it shows that even one small mistake that can be devastating. Of course, at the end of the day, all of the players here will end up in the bracket, so no stress. But of course, the lower seeds will have tougher matchups, so you do want to get those good rounds in, and here are your 5 final chances to do so before we move on to the bracket. So we have a map from Thone, an up-and-coming mapper. I don't know if it's up-and-coming anymore, pretty established at this point, honestly, but a great map from Thone. It's called Code. Another mapper in the Finnish mapping scene to show up in the last 2 years, building some pretty great track of the days, and also a map for the Nordic Cup 2024. This map in particular may be most notable for the fact that it does have an ice slide right here at the end. And it is the only map in the map pack to have that. Now, the trick is, of course, to ice sliding. If there's someone who has never seen Trackmania before, you turn the car sideways and you counter steer, and then you gain really good speed. But with this plastic flick at the end, you need to be careful not to over-angle the car. You need to be really careful with not entering it in the wrong position. As you have icy wheels as well, you need to watch out for the exit of that ice slide. Once you exit the plastic and you go onto the tarmac again, you need to make sure that the car is straight. Otherwise, you enter it in a drift, and you might get an icy wheel slide that's very difficult to exit. So you need to be aware of that, and I'm sure these players are. And we have Klovny here, currently at the top. We'll see how that ice slide goes. Kopro very close, taking an inside entry. Klovny maybe getting a little bit less speed, and it is Sinks also overtaking right at the end. Dunste actually as well, getting that top 3 placement with just 0.003 of a second, but Kopro wins this round by a mile. And yeah, we have to kind of remind people that Kopro, even though Sinks is still ahead there on the leaderboard, Kopro has every single world record in this map pack. Assuming that no world records get broken in this qualifier, which I haven't really paid attention to be honest. So Kopro is definitely prepared, we could say. It is possible, of course, that someone's not showing their true pace. It's not unheard of in the Trackmania competitive scene, but I feel like at this point we have a pretty good idea. And Copro being in the top 2 placement probably shows that the pace is pretty much there, but this time Copro with a devastating mistake falls quite far from the others, and it is Klovny now with a chance to get those 70 points, but Wildcard with more speed will snipe this one with just 7,000s. Klovny getting those snipes, but to the wrong direction. Last round it was 3,000 of a second, now it's 7,000 of a second. But the most important thing is still that there are very good times, very good placements for the Finnish player right now. And it does mean that Klovny will be at least getting a top 8 placement here, I dare to say at this point. Of course, at the moment it does look like we have 3 Norwegian players entering the bracket with a top 8 placement. Sinks, Copro and Dunstead probably still battling a little bit on this first seed though, as we have 3 more rounds remaining. But I think all of them can be pretty happy with the current scores they have. Dunstead, excellent start. Copro slightly behind, but not far at all to still climb back to the top. Wildcard also great dirt turn there, getting the 4th gear, and then the ice slide. Klovny once more at the top, but does get a little bit less speed there. Oh, Wildcard going for the safe finish, but it does not work. Realizing that there's not enough speed, but, well... Or maybe the angle was wrong, but that is a little bit of an unfortunate thing. The whole... not in the Swedes' favor this time. And that might actually mean that Andy overtakes Wildcard for the time being. And Sinks still holding on to the first place. We have 2 more rounds remaining. The points, of course, do not matter. Only your placement does so. Doesn't really matter if Sinks gets the first place by 1 point or by 200 points. It's gonna be the first seed either way. So, we'll see if Sinks can hold on to it. This time Copro with a really, really good start. Wildcard there as well. Dunstead, not too far. Klovny and Turturu also getting some decent runs on this map. Sinks really pushing for speed, and it does look pretty good, but oh! Avoids the hole. Does not quite get the line, pushing maybe a little bit too much, but this time we do not see a player fall into the hole, though that did cost quite a bit of points there, actually, for Sinks. And it is entirely possible that Dunstead can get this first seed still. It's not quite enough with these points, but this final round really decides it. Final round of the qualifier as well. 7-point difference for top 1. Sinks right here, and where is Dunstead? Quite far behind, has made a little bit of a mistake. 45 hundredths the difference, but maybe there's still a mistake from Sinks that could change this situation. I'm sure Dunstead is fine with the second seed also. But let's see how it goes down. We do have Sinks there, still at the top, and looks like Sinks will secure this. We have Dunstead finishing a little bit later, so there we are. We're waiting for the last few players to get this run in, get their final times in, and then we have our leaderboard here. So, that should be that. GG's for everyone thus far. We are now going to create the bracket. Let me just give a little bit of an information. But yeah, that should be the qualifier in the bag. Excellent, Ghost, thank you. Alright. Well, as I am a multitasker, and I am not only casting, but I'm also managing the tournament, we are going to go on a little bit of a break, which means that I will manage the bracket. So we are going to be back very shortly. Probably about 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, so I'll put a timer on the screen so you can see. But yeah, matches continue in about 10 minutes. We'll be back in a little bit earlier as well. Okay. Alright. I'm sweating here a little bit, but all the matches are there. So I think we should be getting ready to check those out. Oof, exciting times. Getting into some classic Trackmania. Looking forward to seeing these. So, now that we're done with our qualifier, the players have been seated into the main bracket. And your performance in the qualifier decides which match you actually get to play. There are currently 8 matches for the players available. We could check out something here in the middle. For example, it's kind of hard to go through every single match. Alright. Waiting for the players to find everything, but okay, let's see. So, for example, I think match 4 could be kind of interesting. The first match is, of course, like there's gonna be a lot of different players in there. There's 2 matches with 3 players only, but all the others should have 4 players each. For all I know, maybe some of them are already starting, because as soon as the players do join the servers, they might end up going. But okay, let's just do an executive decision here to jump into server 6. Oh, well, okay, well, that was good timing, because we are just literally now starting with the first round. This, I figure, is pretty interesting matchup, as it is pretty very sort of global, international lineup. We have 2 Finns, we have 1 Swede, and we have also 1 Norwegian here, Botman, showing up. So let's check in on this one. So we're already into our first round, which means that we are not really in time to explain how this works, but we are playing something called Cup Mode. So it's a different format than the previous match here. And what this one is, this is a very classic Trackmania esports game mode, and the idea with this is that you play rounds, and Clothing here is going to win the first round with a great time, getting those 10 points, as we can see on the left side, which means that... Oh, Bobman having a bit of a rough round here, not able to reach the finish line, it seems. That's going to be 0 points, unfortunately, but many more rounds to go. So, Clothing here, getting those 10 points, and we can see them on the scoreboard now. So 10 points for winning, 6 points for second place, and then 4 and 3 points for third and fourth place, respectively. And the idea here is that you play these rounds until you reach 100 points. We're playing 3 rounds per map, and then moving on to the next one. And in Cup Mode, we have something called Finalist Status. When you reach those 100 points, you're going to also reach the Finalist Status. After that, you have to win 1 more round to secure your placement. So the goal here for the players is to first get to 100 points, and after that, reach 1 more victory on 1 more round, and then you have secured your position. And in this bracket, you will proceed to the next round if you are in the top 2. 2 winners per match, so even though Klovny here probably going to get the top 1 placement unless some incredible upset happens, there is one more place on the round of 16 that players can get. So, we are going to see if the top 2 place goes to Finland, Sweden, or Norway. So 3 rounds per map, which means that you do have to go through all of the maps to secure your ranking. So if someone only practiced 2 maps, for example, it could be a rough time. And we have a big mistake here from Moser. Was that actually DNF as well? No, still in. Okay. My numpad is just not working apparently. But yeah. Moser still battling, but might lose a few points here. DR here. Trying to get some good rounds going. The skin of the car does say victory car. We'll see if that helps at all. It could be something that ends up helping. Who knows? But Klovny here with an incredible consistency. Getting another 10 points and securing a perfect first map here on by Doogie. And indeed, the other points do go to different players this time. As we move on to our next map, which is going to be a metronome. Here we have a little bit of time to remind each other what this map is about. It is by myself. I am also a map builder sometimes, and this map, a little bit of a tricky one. Some fast lines. Not so easy to optimize everything here, and if you want to push this map, you do end up going very, very close to the walls, and it can be a little brutal, like here, if you miss the line because you need to release a lot and then try to find your pace again. Or the barrel roll we already saw on the qualifier as well, so might be a little tricky. But let us see how this goes. Klovny there. Getting a little bit of warm-up on the first round, already showing the consistency, making it pretty far on this one as we go into the live round. And here we are, Klovny already with the strongest start here, now snapping into the outside dirt line, and then the plastic landing close to the inside there, showing the lines that I don't know if other players in this lobby can replicate, but again, it is just about getting to the top 2. Also Klovny with a really scary line there, going a little high on the quarter pipe as well, and might be a bit of a dent in the armor. Now giving the top 2 placements to Sweden and the other Finn here. Bobman making a little bit of a mistake here. It does look like... Oof, very close ending. Here's the thing. I would show the Jermuser POV, but for some reason, the button doesn't work on my numpad. So, okay, I'll just find it from the leaderboard from now on. These are the miracles of Trackmania. Sometimes, it truly does not work. Interesting. Okay, well, that's something. I guess I can click the arrows here. I'll figure something out. It's all good. It's all good. It could be my keyboard that's broken. But either way, important clutch for Jermuser here. And now, again, has a bit of a hold on that top 2 placement. Klovny, a little bit of a better round this time. Does not make the same mistake twice. Now going into the drift around the pole, as close to the road as possible. Jermuser a little bit wide, but at the moment it does seem like the other 2 players have made some mistakes, so The Finns doing just fine here. Oh, a little bit of a mistake. Oh, it might have been a respawn as well. Missing the checkpoint, going a little bit too wide there. But the respawn is well-timed, so still time to reach the finish line. Klovny with a great 52.8 on that round. Looking solid as ever. So we have one more round here. Bobman making a big mistake in the start. Klovny also not getting an ideal start, dropping a little bit further, but might be able to climb back in. Getting a pretty solid outside line there. Going all the way to top 2, and now already at top 1. Drifting tight, and there's a bit of a mistake from DR there as well. So that does mean that the two Finns once again battling for the win. Actually, Jermoser might try to get this one super close to the pole. What a line. And now building the speed, but Klovny with a better entry might be able to get more speed from the grass. And really pushing it, I think Klovny with that ending line will secure it, but a great round from Jermoser as well. Looking solid. And we have the two players finishing this round as well. Bobman also getting the 3 points there, which might prove important, you never know. But at the moment it does seem like it's mostly Finland and Sweden battling for the top 2. We shall see what happens. There's still 2 more maps to go. Klovny currently at 54 points, which does mean that 5 more round wins would secure the finalist status. The others need a little bit more, but Klovny did really nicely on these last 2 maps in the map pack, so we shall see if maybe Klovny can already close things in the next 6 rounds. A little bit of a warm-up here. We do have a map introduction as well, but I took too long to show it, so we're gonna look at it a little later. It's okay, sometimes it's valuable also to see the 1 minute warm-up or 45 seconds, as we do kind of see also the player's mindset. There are some professional players, for example, who usually decide to not really drive at all in the warm-up. They just kind of, you know, sort of meditate for that 1 minute, kind of think about like what exactly they should do, how they want to focus. Probably not, you know, coming up with any new strats or anything, but just like refocusing on the game. And the two Finns, both with a mistake in the start, have to wonder if that 1 minute meditation could have done something, but I'm sure they are better than me at this. So I'll leave it up to them to decide how this goes. But Klovny already climbing back. Oh, really nice full speed line. Does get a little closer. Bobman with a pretty big mistake. Oof! There is a crash from both players, which does allow Jermoser to climb to the top 1 placement here. But top 2 would secure Klovny 60 points as well, and it will indeed be that +6 there. And that means that Klovny will nicely get into the 60 points. So if there is a situation where Klovny can get the 4 next rounds in without mistakes, that would mean that Klovny will still be able to get to the 100 points, get the final status. So now just hoping to not make those mistakes again, but I think there has been a little bit of a mistake from 2 players once more. See if that trend continues as we move on with the tournament, but this time it is Bobman and Jermoser that make that mistake. Klovny with a confident lead of almost a second now, really trying to push these lines. It's mostly a battle for top 2, and Jermoser does overtake the Swede here. That might be extra points for Finland once more. Those 2 round wins really have done wonders for Jermoser, but that crash does not. Klovny will secure this round, but the 2nd place goes to DR. And Bobman finishing on the 4th place with a little bit of a stronger time though. it is respectable to still like be able to in some sense like stay on the pace of these players, because like Klovny, for example, not some rando that suddenly started Trackmania yesterday, none other than the Finnish national champion, current defending champion, if my memory doesn't fail me, and please do not fail me, because it would be embarrassing to get this facts wrong, but extremely, extremely good player. And has been performing really nicely on the international stage. And now in this Nordic Cup 2024 edition, looking to win that trip to France that goes for the top 2 of this tournament. But some mistakes again from players from the other countries here. And Jermuser, even with a couple seconds mistake, will secure another second place, climbing further and further towards that 100-point score. Klovny, though, has done what I kind of like expected, which is to secure those last 2 rounds there. No mistakes on those. And now has 2 more rounds to go before the 100 points, and that would be that for Klovny as far as points go. Then it's just about winning 1 more round, and it can happen on this map already. We go into Code by Thone. Now, one thing we saw in the qualifier from Klovny specifically was the ice slide costing a little bit of speed at the end. We will see if that matters in this match at all. That was, of course, like very small margins, though. Klovny dropped a couple thousandths of a second, if I remember correctly, maybe a couple hundreds, and that was basically already costing the round at that point. Here, if the rest of the round goes well enough, maybe it doesn't matter to have a little bit less speed. But of course, in the later matches, it might matter more. Pretty interesting start here, though. Jermuser taking the first place, Klovny dropping a little bit lower. Bobman there does get a good start, but now conceding the second place to Klovny. Now with the speed advantage, Klovny getting a little closer, still 2 tenths to go. Klovny getting the ice slide, and this looks like it's going to secure the second place. Jermuser with a great round here. And it does mean that Klovny is denied the match win on this map. Now needs to get at least 1 third place and 2 round wins to reach the 100 points, and there's only 2 rounds left on this map, so we will go to the second rotation either way. But let's see now if Klovny can get the needed points on these following rounds to secure at least that chance to close it in on the next map. We'll go, of course, back to Han by Doogie. Klovny looking really solid on this round. And again, Jermuser very close as well. We have Bobman, the next player, and you can see that that's about 2 seconds away, so Klovny, oh, a little bit slow, goes for the safe finish. But it is enough of a lead that Klovny does secure the first place anyway. The second place would essentially be very similar here, but either way, doesn't hurt to get those slight extra points. That means that now Klovny only needs to get top 3 from this round to secure those 100 points and get the final status. Then it's just about winning one more round. Oof, Bobman with a rough start there. But the others do survive. It is a kind of a tricky start. Taking the tightest line doesn't quite work. You need to go a little bit wider to get the necessary speed to make the jump. So, not as easy, not as straightforward as it might seem. But the players have been getting it nicely. And now Klovny as well. Doing a very clean run. Ooh, a little bit of a mistake there. Allows Termuser to again go towards the second place. But Klovny here does look like the ending works. The risky finish jump works as well. And that is those 10 points from this round, which is plenty to secure the 100 points and the final status. We are going to go into Doogie's map. And there, Klovny has a chance to close the match, get that first place. But again, it's also about that second place ranking here. Both top 2 players will make it to the next round. So let's see. A bit of a warm-up here. We can check the map intro here again. Doogie does not really need an introduction in the mapping scene, just had a track of the day recently, a pretty prestigious Trackmania achievement for mappers still, and also is known for building RPGs, is known for building ice maps, very good ice player. Most of all, of course, Doogie, known as a bobsleigh builder. But this map does not really have ice or bobsleigh, well, does not have straight up. It does maybe have a little bit of like RPG element in there. Some of these jump combinations that might be kind of in that sort of like stunty transitional style. There's a big mistake already in the beginning, which gives Klovny a chance to maybe pull through here. Pushing through. Clean line so far, and it is quite a bit ahead of the next best player. About half a second, so if Klovny can just keep this up, that should be the round of 16 secured for the Finnish player. So, final turn looks good, and Klovny will secure the match win, getting those 100 points in the bag, as we have the other players still battling for top 2. Termuser could potentially reach 100 points on this map as well, but it's gonna take a little bit longer to reach those the finalist attempts. That is, 100 points can be reached, of course, but the next map is the first finalist securing attempt. I don't know what to call it. Does look like at least top 2 should work here, but a little bit of a mistake from Termuser here. Does change the positions. Oh, and a bit of a gear down there as well. Such a tricky thing to notice, but it can be pretty impactful. So that is a little bit of sign of hope for Sweden here. Termuser still does get to the 90 points. So looking decent. $66 points for TR. Bobman at 43 after this round. So quite a few finalist denies would need to happen here for Jermuser to not get through, but anything is possible. Of course, you also need to take into account that there's some nerves, maybe a little bit of shakiness. Once you have that finalist status, you know that you have to win one round. But so far, Jermuser has been doing pretty nicely. A little bit of a gear down again from Jermuser, still makes the jump. And now trying to climb back. This time keeps the gear, maybe a possible comeback here. It is a little bit of more speed. Better lineup from the plastic, should gain a bit more speed into the last part as well. Risking the reactor and looks to pay off. That should be the finalist that is secured. Great comeback from Jermuser there. Still into 70 plus points for DR, so it would be possible to potentially deny Jermuser 3 times and then get a double finalist situation here, but it is a tough task. We go again into a metronome. Jermuser did show pretty good pace on this one, so it could potentially get difficult for either of the two players to deny the win here. Jermuser will have at least those 3 chances before anyone else can reach the final status, so we shall see. Just one more round win will do, and the top 16 in the Nordic Cup 2024 is secured. Tricky map though. Mistakes can be costly. Having some tough lines to recover from can cost even multiple seconds if you push them too much. So entirely possible that some mistakes will end up deciding this, but let's see now. Jermuser, very inside line there, but does get a clean speed into the next part. Now pushing into the dirt. The outside line for more speed, does not get it as well as the Swede. Finland with not a single player, I think, in the top 6, if I remember correctly. Still keeping the hopes alive with getting at least Klovny in to the top there, into the top 16, but Jermuser would probably be a good addition as well for the Finns and gets a really nice drift, and this could be it. It was a great run so far from the Swede, but not quite getting the line in, and I think Jermuser with this line has secured the top 2. Big GG's also to DR and Bobman, of course, for playing. But this match goes to Klovny and Jermuser. They will move on to the next round, which will also be played today. We are going to check out the other matches here. Let me see what's still ongoing. Looks like only 2 matches. Let's go to match 2 to spectate. So most matches are done. It seems like this one is actually close to ending. It's a full finish match. Do you believe it? And it does look like there's a little bit of a tight situation here. We have Buckles or Buckis versus Pahtis. And that is an interesting matchup. Does look like Pahtis here pretty close to Getting to the final status, only 7 points missing, so needs to win one more round here. One more round deny from Puckis. Really good lines there, getting really good entry into the road as well until that happens, slightly clipping the checkpoint, and we might be just watching the final run here. Turuturu, probably the favorite going into this match, and also secures the top 1 placement, and now it does look like Puckis, unless there's a mistake at the very end, pushing it tight, but does manage to do so. Does manage to pull through, does secure the second place on this group, and goes into the round of 16 as well. And that is probably all of the matches done now. GG's, that was a solid match as well. Let's tune in to this one too. We are again on the same map, and actually this one is going on for a little bit longer. So we're going to tune in to this match. Dumle, again, the favorite going into this group, Group 7, has secured the first place. We have a bit of a battle here for the second place. Experial and Badscam pretty close in points. Couple rounds away from winning the ticket to top 16, but seems like we're playing some crucial rounds here. Badscam. Looks like a good enough ending, going very wide on the road part, but still holding on to the first place, and great ending as well. Really pushing it and getting that first place with a good time as well. Experial getting 6 points from that round means that there's now going to be at least one round for Badscam with finalist status alone. Does look like we're on the final round of Metronome here, so this will be decided on Sala. Kola's map. Oof, deadly steps there. Immediately flying into the pole. So now it is going to be, once again, between the two Finns. Experial would probably really like this round win here, though Badscam will get to the 100 points regardless. With a little bit more inside line, but Badscam does get more speed. Now pushing through, getting a clean line as well. And then the final grass turn can be a little tricky one, but Badscam does manage to deny the points away from Experial. So Experial only to 95 points, which means that technically on the next round it is possible that Experial does not get the finalist status, but at the same time, someone has to deny Badscam the finalist status for there to be 2 more rounds. So Experial might have to push the lines a little bit here and get those 2 rounds. Let's see how it goes. Entirely possible, of course. We go into Sala by Kola. Kola continuing the 4-letter naming scheme. Pretty much can find it on all of his maps. It is a cool small feature Easter egg. Not really an Easter egg, I suppose, but I think the last year's map from Kola was called Sato. So now we have Sala, which means I don't know how to translate it. It is a Finnish word. It's like a prefix of like a secret. So if you said like, I don't know, this is too difficult. That has to be good enough. But now we'll see who's good enough for top 16. Deadly Steps dropping the gear. Ashcam a little bit of a mistake there, Deadly Steps as well, and has to respawn too. So now it's up to Axperial to potentially make it the double finalist. Potentially snipe Badgecam from the top 16 round, but we're still going to have to see the next round, even if this goes to Axperial. Pushing through. Of course, it's possible that there's a mistake on this round as well, and Badgecam can still snipe this away. The last turn, very tricky to get well. Both of them do get it though, and we're going into double finalist. Now, Deadly Steps could potentially deny this, of course, but it has to be a very clean run because Axperial and Badgecam seem to be driving pretty nicely so far. Here we go. Potentially the... Oh, Deadly Steps. Okay. Missing the typing the good luck in the chat and unfortunately missing the start a little bit. So we might be looking at the final round indeed. Badgecam versus Axperial. Badgecam with a slightly better start. Avoids the mistake from the previous one. Axperial a little bit wide. Badgecam gets the speed advantage and also wider drift. Does seem to work out. Axperial though, not out of this just yet. Still pushing. Goes really close and a bit too close. It's Badgecam's round to lose now. Deadly Steps would be the next player there. 2 seconds behind Badgecam, so... just getting to the end of the map will be enough, and Badgecam does so effortlessly. A 49.9 as well, a very, very solid time on this final round. Badgecam will be joining Doomlight on the round of 16. So, that is our final match of round 32, and we are going to go into the round of 16. Big GG's and also thank yous for the players for jumping in so far. We're going to be generating the next matches in just a minute. We're going to be taking a break for about 2 minutes and then get the players into their matches. We'll be back very soon. All right. We have our next set of matches. Okay. I'm gonna ask for some opinions here. So we have some pretty stacked matches. We're getting into top 16, and these are some kind of tricky games for pretty much everyone. There are a lot of good names, good players here. So, match 1, we have 4 matches. We have Sinks, Susui, Turuturu, and Buckis. Match 2, we have Heavy, Laku, Andy Baguette, and Wildcard. Match 3, we have Klovny, Vermuser, Kopro, and Vajo. And we have match 4, Badscam, Dunste, Nuclear, and Dumle. Watch the Swedes. Honestly, the heavy wildcard Andy match is pretty stacked, so I would... And Laku, of course, as well. I might maybe, yeah. We watched a bunch of Finns just before, so what about we tune into some Swedes this time? Well, it's only 2 Swedes. 1 Finnish player and 1 Norwegian as well. Let us check out that match. It was match 2, if I remember myself correctly. Let's see how that goes. Indeed, it is this match, and all the players are already here, so we're getting close to starting. Small adjustment there, and have a slight warm-up here, but yeah. So, Wildcard, Heavy, Andy Baguette, and Laku. Andy Baguette and Laku getting out of one group in the previous match. Andy Baguette winning that one as well. And then Wildcard and Heavy coming out of another group, which that I don't remember how this went. I could quickly check with the possibility that we... or maybe someone else can check, so we don't miss any rounds, because it'll take a little bit for me to find that out. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. All the players are here. All the players have made it to the top 16. And we have... great players. Seems like we have a couple minutes here. Does look like we're gonna wait until the 45 here. All right. A bit of adminning here at the same time. But we're getting ready. Getting ready to see our players in action. 1 minute 20 seconds, it seems we're still waiting. Otherwise, we are going to be playing the same maps. Starting with a map from Doogie again. Quite a tricky map. One of the longer ones as well. Not so easy to do clean. It is only one of 4 maps though, so you can of course excel at 2 maps really nicely, and that can be enough to maybe secure a spot in the top 8. Tomorrow we are going to play both of the semifinals and also the grand finals. So we'll see how all of that goes. But today we'll find out which 2 players from each group do make it into the next match. Here we are. We should be ready to jump in. Match is about to start. So once again we have Heavy, Andy Baguette, Laco and Wildcard in this match. "45 seconds and we're live to our first round. Same goal as on the previous round. We have 100 points that you want to reach. Then you get the finalist status, and at that point you will be able to secure one more round, secure your position in the top 8 in the Nordic Cup 2024. The prize is prestigious, as it is a paid trip to France next year for Paris Games Week 2025. Let us see how the players fare. First round starting right now. Andy getting a decent start over the others here. Laco a little bit slower to it, but Swedes are close. Heavy, Wildcard very, very close to each other and not too far from Andy either. Andy though, driving very, very steadily here. Clean lines. And getting through all the obstacles nicely, getting the reactor as well. Wildcard a little too far to snipe this one, so it will be Andy getting that first place with a 55.9. Wildcard and Heavy have to be content with second and third place there. Still many more rounds to go though, and I'm sure all of these players have the pace to win these rounds. Wildcard taking the early lead here, was very consistent in the qualifier, getting some great times. Heavy with a little bit of a lower seed going into this match, but still has shown some solid times on these maps, on the leaderboards especially. So let's see how these 2 Swedes are gonna get this down. Laco a little bit behind on this round again, but does seem like Andy securing another round. Wildcard Heavy. Once more on the top 2 and 3 places. Laco not too far from the time of Heavy, but still, of course, 4th place is 4th place, and it does give only those 3 points. We shall see, though. Laco can maybe show some extra pace here. But again, similar situation. Heavy maybe a little bit slower in the start this time, but Wildcard and Andy battling it out at the top. Does seem like we have very similar rankings on this round as well. The Wildcard with a bit of a mistake, and not a bit, but a big mistake. Heavy also with a mistake allows Laco to climb into the top 2, and Andy securing another 55.9. Laco with that clean run still manages to get a point or plus 6 point result there, and Wildcard importantly not finishing at all, which means that that is going to be a 0 point round for Wildcard. So now we have 3 players equaled at 12 points after the first map as we go into the next one. This one's going to be Metronome. We saw some great rounds here. Wildcard especially was consistently in top 4 in the qualifier. I was doing really nicely there. We shall see if Andy can maybe keep those round wins coming. Getting up to 30 points after the first map is of course the perfect result. So we'll see if that performance continues. Warm-up is done. We're moving on into the first round on Metronome. This tricky start here. Needing to get the 4th gear before the plastic part and then the side switch, building as much speed as possible. Everyone is getting it really nicely here. Outside dirt line, Laco a little bit lower, and Heavy also with a big mistake, dropping much further down. Wildcard, on the other hand, does show the pace here, getting better speed into the grass as well. Now who dares to go higher on the quarter pipe? It's Andy, but Wildcard really pushes the speed into the road transition. So they do end up being pretty even. Wildcard with the better drift too. So now Andy might have to lose the first round in this match so far, but at the end of the day, it is a pretty good ending from Andy too, and even more speed. So Andy, great ending, secures another first place. Wildcard, the second place, very good time. Laco with the third. Heavy drops to 4th place there. So needs to get some stronger rounds here to equal the other players again. But Andy, another round win, climbs up to 40 points now. Heavy really pushing this line, and it does kind of work out, but it's a really tricky exit to save into the plastic. So another mistake on this round, or this map rather. We have Andy and Wildcard once more battling it out. Laco not too far away, and there can be some mistakes like we saw on the previous map that do happen at these later parts of the tracks. So it is not all said and done just yet. Heavy might even end up DNFing this round. But Wildcard and Andy doing pretty nicely. Andy now looks to secure the 5th round in a row. Head of Wildcard, enough to secure that with ease. Great time as well with 52.3. Heavy should be able to finish this still. So at least getting those 3 points, they might come in very, very handy. 50 points in the bag, and now the third round on the second map. This time heavy start works out. And it is the best start out of the 4 players. Great outside line 2, the speed is very solid. Should get a bit more into this drift section too. I'm really pushing it now. Two Swedes side by side. Andy still pushing quite a bit of speed here. But we shall see. Laku has dropped a couple tenths behind, but still might be able to capitalize on any slightly bad lines from the players. It is Wildcard dropping away from the top 2 fight. Heavy still trying to hold the top 1, but Andy pushing. Is it enough? It's enough by 4 thousandths of a second, and Andy continues the perfect performance in this match. Now, 6 rounds in a row. 1 and 60 points in the bag. So Andy really looking forward to that that top 8 placement. We go into the next map, which is going to be Sala. Map by Kola. It is a fairly difficult map. We've seen many mistakes in this start section today, especially. It's a very tight start if you want to push it for the maximum speed, so you have to be really careful with how you approach it. Our players have already shown that they can push this map, but not always without getting punished. Sometimes mistakes do happen. It's not an easy map at all. Let's see how it goes. Laku a little bit wide in the start and has to release. But that's already the difficulty of the beginning, and now has to crash as well. Wildcard super close to the wall, but does survive it. Andy, not far. Heavy goes a little wide, and now a couple tenths behind, but and now also crashes the turn. Laku will be able to get back into the top 3 battle here, but it is again between Wildcard and Andy. Andy going a little bit too close to the wall, and this might be the end of the winning streak. Wildcard just has to get this ending right and secure those 10 points. Great time as well with a 49.1. Very fast. 10 points in the bag does mean that at least there's a difference now between the top 2, 3 and 4 players. And is still quite far from the others as Laku makes another mistake in the beginning. Very tricky section. So far so good though. Ooh, Heavy, very wide line there, but does survive it. Does also pay for it with a little bit of time, but at the very least, it's only a couple tenths. Wildcard, similar situation. Andy this time does avoid the crash. Might be able to push through and win another round, but as I say that, Andy with a huge crash into the pole. And Wildcard will end up taking this round as well with a 48.9. An excellent time. And is still able to secure the 3rd place here. So does climb all the way up to 70 points. But Wildcard, slowly but surely, getting close to that as well. Now up to 48 points. Laku. One more release there. It is a very tight start. So far the players are making it look easy. We have a very similar situation as before. Wildcard and Andy, but Heavy actually with a pretty great drift there. Just climb closer, and Andy makes a slight mistake. So it might now be possible actually for Laku as well to snipe the third place, get some more points in. But Wildcard and Heavy, they do secure the top 2 again. So now up to 58 points for Wildcard Andy. Still leading though, with 73. Heavy and Laku pretty close to each other at 39 and 34. But managing to stay within striking distance. There are probably some rounds here that have to be won by both of those players for them to really have realistic hope for getting to the top 8, but it is absolutely possible. Heavy has shown some great rounds, and if Laku can get rid of some of those early mistakes on these maps, then absolutely can get some 10-pointers as well. Let's see now. We're going into a code. We can take a quick look at it here. Map by Thone. Fairly technical map, has the ice slide at the end, followed after the third gear dirt section. A little bit of a tricky map for sure. And this start we've seen some players also not quite get. It's a tricky jump. Need to go a little wide for it. Get the necessary speed. But both the 4 players do get it this time. Again, very close between the top 3. Andy climbing to the first spot once more, but now needs to hold it for about 20 more seconds. The dirt entry here, pretty important section. I think we saw a mistake from Heavy there. Wildcard still very close to Andy, and might be able to snipe this one. Who gets the best speed? I think it's Andy, but Wildcard, by 1,000th of a second, actually does manage to snipe the round. Oh, that is a small margin to win a round by, but it's so important. Wildcard now only a couple rounds away from matching Andy's score here. 79 points on Andy, and Wildcard with 68. Really showing up on these last 2 maps. After this we of course go back to the beginning of the rotation. And Andy did win the 3 rounds on Doogie's map when we first got into this match, so it might be a difficult task for the others to match Andy's pace there. But Wildcard is getting all the good rounds right now. This one looking really promising too, gets more speed into the ice too. And if the ending is decent, Andy gets more speed, but Wildcard does survive. Heavy 3rd place, not far from Andy either. Wildcard with another 10 points though, getting to 78 points now. Andy only 7 points away. Heavy and Laku still climbing the ladder, but a little bit behind the others now. Definitely need to get some clutch rounds in to still fight for the top 2. Jump into the plastic. Now building speed as much as possible for these road parts, always trying to go as wide as you can without crashing. Building all the speed by utilizing all the space. And this time Heavy is doing it nicely, goes very wide into the dirt as well to build a bit more speed, but Andy does kind of match the pace. Wildcard a little bit ahead still, and Heavy goes super close to the wall, but does survive and should be taking the second place here. So Wildcard with a perfect map here, getting 30 points, and Heavy with the great final round there, getting the second place. Important points as well. That does mean there's only a 1 point difference between Andy and Wildcard as we enter our second rotation. It is possible for either of the two players to secure the top 8 placements right here. They need to get to the 100 points and they need to win one more round after that. Both need 2 rounds to do so. I don't think there's really any major difference between the two players right now, because second place does give 6 points, so both players with 2 second places would still reach 100 points, and it doesn't really matter if you go over the 100 points or not. You just need to get there, need to reach exactly 100. Oh well, you can go higher as well if you end up having such a round, but main thing is that you're not under it. So here we go. Jumping in. First round here. Wildcard really pushing for speed there. It does kind of work until it doesn't. It does look like Andy might be the more likely one of the two players to secure the finalist ranking on this map. Technically could even secure the top 8 right here, right now, if the rounds go well, and Andy's first rotation here did go very, very well, of course. 30 points, winning every single round here. And looks to have a good time on this first round of the second rotation as well. Heavy really pushing for speed there. Laku does overtake at the end. Is it going to stand until the finish line? I think so. But it is Andy, of course, getting those 10 points again with a great run. 56.4. Laku, important points. Now getting all the way up to 50. Andy with the very awkward 99 points, but just finishing this round will be enough to secure the finalist ranking, so at least there's that. Wildcard could win this round and secure that status as well, so we shall see. Andy, of course, probably wants to deny any kind of points from the others that he can, so it is still in his best interest to try to push this round. Try to get all those 10 points for himself, even if he doesn't really have much use for them. But Heavy and Wildcard are here to fight as well. Laku a couple tenths away as well. Might be able to snipe if there's something that goes wrong from the other players in this ending, but it does seem like Wildcard and Andy will be battling this one to the finish line, but Wildcard misses the reactor and unfortunately pushing a little bit too much, has to concede this final round to Andy and doesn't quite manage to get those 10 points. So now Andy has possibility here to secure the top 8. Wildcard 1 second place away from securing finalist status as well. Andy, not the greatest start there, does have to adapt a little bit. And it's Laku and Wildcard. Laku with excellent speed going into the dirt part, snowballing it through this entire section. But Andy has already climbed back to first place, just like that. Getting a great road section there. Now, good speed out of the dirt as well. Into the transitions, a little bit of a noseslide there to gain even more speed, and now Wildcard needs to do something here to deny Andy, but it does seem like Andy might have the better lines. Laku trying to push, but it's not enough. Andy is through. Oh, and Heavy missing the finish a little bit as well, it seems. So Andy is through to top 8. with a really solid performance. The good news for wildcard is that the finalist status was there. The second place did happen, so the finalist status has been secured with exactly 100 points as we go back into Metronome, where wildcard has had some great runs. We shall see. Maybe it's possible that one of the two players, Heavy or Laku, will push through and manage to climb into the semifinals, but at the same time it is a tough battle. Wildcard has 4 rounds all alone, so all of this map plus the first round of Sala at least to try to secure this one. Just needs that 1 round win. We will see. We will see how it goes. Could be over on this first round already. Heavy pushing the start as we've seen before and does make it work as well. Really good speed there. Wildcard does not do it bad either, and Laku right there behind, but Heavy with a mistake means that Laku is now the only player to deny wildcard unless there's a major mistake on this round. So let's see. Wildcard only feeling the pressure, but Laku might feel it more. With that mistake, it might be wildcard's round now. Wildcard's round to lose. 1.4 seconds behind for the next player, so with just a decent ending line here, wildcard is through to top 8, manages to join Andy there, and gets into the Nordic Cup semifinals. That is our second round done. We can check in on the other matches if they are still ongoing. It does seem like we have 2 matches still going in, so match 4 has concluded. Here we have Klovny actually. Klovny has won the match. No, sorry. Still finalist. So it does look like a pretty tight match here. Bio, Klovny and Kopro all battling for that win. Double finalist. Oh, but there's a big mistake from Klovny. And Vajo, of course, 6 points from getting a finalist status as well, so that would mean that... Oof, but Vajo with a huge mistake. That would mean that the second place would give finalist to Vajo as well, but I don't know if that's going to happen now. It might be Jermuser getting that one. Does seem like Klovny might have DNF'd as well. Of course, you don't really do much with the points at this point if you already have the finalist status, so maybe just better to focus on the next round. Kopro does secure the win from this group with a great time of 52.3 as well. And unfortunately for Vajo, and maybe fortunately for Klovny, Jermuser with that second place snipes the 6 points, which does mean that Klovny does get at least 1 round here. Well, probably 1 round if Vajo just finishes this round. To try to secure the finalist. Second place from the group. No competition just yet, but mistake on this round could be devastating. Vajo going very wide there, but somehow does survive. It is a pretty tight battle between Klovny and Jermuser though. But Klovny with a really ambitious push there for speed does make this round work so far. 0.37 seconds ahead of the others, and now going in the grass turn, the final obstacle between Klovny and top 8, and it works out just fine, jumping into the finish, and a great run gives Klovny the top 8 placement from this group as well. A great battle between the two though, Vio getting close, managing to reach the 100 points at the end as well. And it does seem like we do have our players for tomorrow. Does look like it. All matches have been concluded, and this is indeed the last round of the day. So from the matches that we did not see, from match 1 we had Sinks and Susui going into the next round, Sinks winning that one. Andy Baguette and Wildcard from Group 2 as we saw, Kopro and Klovny as we saw just now as well going in, and then Dumle and Dunste going through from the final group. So that is quite the stacked group of players, and we do have players from all countries. We have, if I quickly calculate, we have 2 Norwegians, we have 3 Swedes, and we have hold on. We have 3 Norwegians. Yeah, we have 3 Norwegians, 3 Swedes, 1 Finn, and 1 Dane. So that is quite the group. So we are going to continue this journey tomorrow. Some great players. Okay. That's gonna be that for today, though. Tomorrow we start the matches at the same time. We're gonna be playing both of the semifinals, and after that we go into the grand finals. So we're starting at the same time tomorrow. Gonna be 8 p.m. Central European time. Should all be set for that as well. So first semifinal 1, then the semifinal 2, and then the grand finals afterwards. So should be okay. All right, that's gonna be the end of today's session, though. So we should be just continuing tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we extend the stream as well. But for today, we will call it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Very much appreciate you all, and hope to see you soon again. So tomorrow, after a cup of the day, we'll be back and see how the Nordic Cup 2024 goes. I appreciate you guys. Take care. I will see you soon.